Studio Cologne, and I'm here to talk to you about action movies across the globe. Let's get started, shall we? Now, if I asked you about the genre of action, your response might be something along the lines of,
once you've seen one, you've seen them all.
when in actuality, there can be much more to action films than what one film has to offer. What proves this is the many global interpretations of action films. Don't know what I mean? Here's an example of an American-style action film. Now before we get into the differences, I wanted to explain why that looks that way. We've all seen action movies do very quick and small cuts during fight scenes. Well, according to Mei Chen-Ye, the excitement level of an action scene increases as the shot length temporarily decreases. This gets interesting when you start to look at action films internationally. For this next example, I will be basing the fighting style off of this 2019 Chinese action film, Jade Dynasty. There seem to be two things that separate action films on a global scale. One is the film's attention to realism. A film's tie to reality can change everything from how the scenes look to how the characters move. Even something as simple as a landing can be changed. Don't believe me? Here's a realistic landing. Here's a fantastical one. As you can see, there's a difference. Realism isn't the only thing that separates a John Wick from a Kung Fu Hustle. The second factor that can come into play is money. The amount of money put into a film can also change how the fight scenes look. In fact, a lot of international films, unfortunately, have lower budgets, whether it be $5 million or just $50. This, in turn, explains why a lot of low-budget films, like independent films made in Ghana like B-14, have fight scenes that look like this. Interestingly enough, it seems that the more money a movie has in its budget, the farther away it goes from reality. That can also be applied to technology in those movies. I mean, think of 2013's Pacific Rim or any of the Star Wars films. All of those instances exercise technology.
Hold it! That isn't the case with new technology.
It's not?
No, it's referring to the new technology that's being used to make the movie, like high-budget cameras.
Oh, and how more low-budget independent films use whatever they can.
And like the camera that you belonged to your cousin that you used to film Batman the Mindbreak.
Or this video right now. Ah! That's what you get. Moving on. Technology like cameras and lights can play into how a movie looks in general. Things like color grading and lighting can alter depending on the budget of a film as well. With low-budget independent films, the footage can look as raw as it wants to because there's barely any color grading or lighting effects in there to begin with. However, the higher the budget gets, the more that the movie tries to look as real as possible. Where for other aspects of the film where there's a difference, lighting and color grading find themselves to be on the same side regardless of budget. There is one final aspect about global action films that's important to talk about. It's a bit on the serious side. The way gender plays into some of these films. It's one thing to have an abundance of male heroes. However, it's another thing to objectify and sexualize women. In films, national or international, a lot of the times, the woman is a prize to be won, or someone to save. Think of the damsel in distress trope. When they are focused on and treated like the protagonist, they are often sexualized or treated as comedic effect. Here are two examples. Here's an example of a woman's fighting style in an action film being sexualized. Now, here's an example of a woman's fighting style in an action film not being sexualized.
So, what's the overall message here? Is it that there are problems with action films wherever you go?
While this may or may not be true, I would think the theme of this is that there is a broad selection of action films out there. Even if a film is made with a $50 camcorder, it still shares and maintains the same aspects and characteristics of many high-budget action films. That might even do the genre justice. For being one of the most popular film genres out there, 100 studios and 1 million individuals are still getting inspired from them. Myself included. Thanks for watching. So, how will you let it inspire you?